Hey, it's Mike. Thanks for watching again. Back today with a special video of another really old card that I bought. And the last time I did a video like this, it was 1950 Bowman. Today it is a 1950 Callahan Lou Gehrig. Not really doing a good job zooming on that, but that's the card. So Lou Gehrig, obviously this is 11 years after he retired. It is 9 years after he passed away tragically from amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which of course went on to become known as Lou Gehrig's disease. Gehrig, his rookie is the 1933 Gouty, even though he started in 1927. The best I could find was that his first legit card was 1933 Gouty. That one in PSA 9, of course, you're not going to find that, but PSA says it's valued at about almost $500,000. I did not buy that card, as you can probably guess. You can't even really find those legitimately raw on eBay. The only ones you're going to find raw on eBay are ones where sellers say, this is a novelty item per eBay rules, because I think my understanding is that eBay requires sellers to state that any extreme vintage like that that are raw, ungraded, are novelty, they are reprints, whatever it is that they force sellers to say. So this 1950 Callahan, my friend Ryan has been alerting me to all these Twitter threads that are happening with a lot of awesome vintage cards. Thanks, Ryan, for killing my wallet. So I saw this card, and you can see it's got a pinhole in the top, which makes it easily defined, and it's in pretty rough shape, but it's a 1950 Lou Gehrig. And he was selling it for $30 shipped, and I went to eBay just to see if that was a reasonable price, and I actually spotted the exact one that had been purchased not very much longer before, for $25 plus $4 shipping, so $29. And I thought, easy deal. I'm gonna pay $30 for something he paid $29 for. So I thought that was a pretty good deal, and I wanted to have one. One funny thing about the Gehrig card is that, first of all, they all have on the back a biography of the player. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but this is 72 years ago. So this says, his achievements at the plate and his mark of 2,130 consecutive games played will probably never be approached. Cal Ripken has a little something to say about that. I actually did like a book report or a biography report in middle school, maybe, about Lou Gehrig. I was fascinated by him and his streak of games. I graduated in 97. I probably did this report in the early 90s, is my guess. And so I was really interested in the history of this series because I'd never heard of 1950 Callahan. So I went in and did some research, and I've got some notes here that I'll go through, but these were created by a man named B.E. Callahan, who was the founder of the Who's Who in Baseball or Who's Who in the Major Leagues series. I guess it was magazines and books. So this was, in 1950, a 62 card boxed set sold through the Hall of Fame of only Hall of Fame baseball players at that time. And then each year, B.E. Callahan and the Hall of Fame added, they would resell it with more cards as more players got added to the Hall of Fame. So over the course of the 7 years that this was in production, it came out with 91 cards. The artist is Mario DeMarco. I'd never heard of Mario DeMarco, but he had a really unique way of doing these cards where he put thousands of dots down on a piece of paper, or thousands of dots on a tiny dots on a page that formed the shape of the player. So I can't even look at this and tell that he did that here. It's a little bit more obvious in the DiMaggio, but yeah, I just thought that was really neat. Speaking of DiMaggio, that was one of the last cards released because he entered the Hall of Fame later on in the mid-50s, and it's one of the most scarce cards because the set, obviously, if Gehrig came out in 1950 and they released this set every year after that for the next 7 years, there's going to be a lot more of Gehrig's. But DiMaggio was released later on, I think in '56, and there was only 1 or 2 years with that DiMaggio. So it's really scarce. A PSA 8 for DiMaggio goes for $700 roughly. Babe Ruth, who was in that first set, PSA 8, goes for $300. And so you can see the big difference there. Obviously, Babe Ruth would be considered a bigger player, not only physically, but in terms of stature. The Gehrig, meanwhile, in PSA 8 only goes for $150. So that's the scarcity of the DiMaggio. And so the DiMaggio PSA has graded about one quarter to 1/3 the number of the Gehrig. So Gehrig has been graded over 400 times, DiMaggio 130 to 150 times. So huge difference in population and scarcity between the two. I think it might be interesting to collect the whole set. The whole set goes for about $900 raw. I'm not going to drop $900 on a set of cards, but I might pick some up here and there. I'm not a set collector, but I also, for vintage cards, it's much more appealing to me than you'll find with like a 2022 Topps set. That's just my opinion, my feeling. I'm also looking at like the 1958 Sport Magazine Topps All-Stars set, which I have a couple of them, and then I thought, oh, it would be really cool to have all of these and get them graded by SGC, because I like the look of those slabs with vintage. So these cards, the 1950 Callahan, came in box sets each year, and I'll throw up a couple pictures of the what those boxes look like from year to year. I only found a few of them, so you can take from that what it's worth. If you're interested in this kind of thing, I do 2 to 3 videos a week like this. Baseball cards, mostly vintage, some junk wax, of course, based on my name. Throw me a subscribe, please. Click that bell icon, click the like button. I really appreciate that. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll be back soon with more.